Um, I will tell you that I've been playing the living shit out of Evil Dead with Luna.
Oh yeah, I heard Luna was like crazy into the new game. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it for PS4.
Okay, and you guys are liking it?
Yeah, it's still super not my style of
Right.
gameplay. It's
Yeah.
still super not. But we've been playing through it, and I've been kind of getting the hang of it a little bit, and we've been having a pretty decent time with it.
Cool. All right. I will say that I enjoyed Army of Darkness a little more than Evil Dead, only because it's way more campy. There's way more dumb shit. The tone was a little more just like, yeah, we're just gonna do some dumb, goofy shit, and that's the movie.
I've always felt that Army of Darkness is a lot more focused in what it wants to be
Yeah.
versus Evil Dead 2, where it's still kind of walking this line between like, well, we kind of want to be a horror movie, but we still kind of want to be a comedy.
Yeah.
And so it does well, but doesn't exceed at either
Yes.
genre.
Yes.
Whereas Army of Darkness is like,
Yes.
oh, this is a very like Hercules kind of Hercules and Xena sort of high fantasy King Arthur story that's a fish out of water story.
It's way more confident in what it wants to be.
And also, Ash is written way more confident in that.
Yes,
like we stop him lacking confidence and being lost. He's just completely. Even the ending of the second one, where he shows up and he's like, "Oh no!" Like it's a Twilight Zone episode. Versus he gets in this one, and he's just like, "Everybody here is pissing me off." Like that's
I loved Army of Darkness Ash. I like that character a lot. Yeah.
Well, the good news is that's how he's written from that point on. So in Ash vs. Evil Dead, he's written that way. Like he's just that's it from now on. That's the character he is. He's like super overconfident and ridiculous and has great one-liners and all that nonsense. So
Love it. Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Zach.
I'm Justin.
Hey guys.
No Wayne's World countdown. No nothing.
No, we're going right into it, baby.
Then,
here we go.
Hey everybody.
Yeah.
And the thing was, that was the smoothest like intro too. That was just like it went perfectly, like without it having any sort of cut into it.
Yeah, I'm basically just a wild animal. You just gotta sneak it up on me, and then we'll be fine.
We're back. We were off for like a month. We're back, baby.
Inflation, the economy. There's all kinds of reasons we were off. It's just not
laziness.
Heavy drinking.
Not enough games to talk about.
Yeah, no games coming out.
Yeah.
We're gonna blame Nintendo for why we didn't release something new. But in going along with that, let's also not talk about video games for a minute. Let's talk about board games. Specifically, one of, I would say, the Yoshi Tetris Attack of board games for James and possibly for Justin. A board game that defies many conventions, defies many time frames, and many afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we are talking about, is this 3rd or 4th edition?
4th edition.
4th edition, the space epic to end all space epics, Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
We recently participated in a full game of Twilight Imperium. Game number what for you, James, of actual games of TI that you've played?
2030. I've played way more TI than anyone should.
This man has played this game longer than I successfully went through college. That's how long he has played his goddamn board game. Justin, what about you? How many rounds of TI have you been through?
If James is saying 2030, I'd probably say 10 to 15.
I thought you were going to double his number for some reason, even though it wouldn't made any sense.
Guys,
like if James said 20 to 30, I'd probably about 50, 60 if I had to guess. So I feel like I'm talking to two war vets. Like you two have cleared several tours of TI and have lived to tell the tale.
Let me tell you about the game we played where I was stuck behind enemy lines.
You only had so many pieces of plastic.
Drunk off my ass.
Also true. So, James, try to walk the nice folks at home through TI in general. Like, how would you even describe this game, and kind of give us a little bit of a short synopsis on like the legacy of this game?
I would describe Twilight Imperium is the game that, like, if you don't know what it is, it's the game that like your friend who's very into board games loves. It is the board gamer's board game. It is the Super Bowl
Okay.
it is the Super Bowl of board games. It is notoriously long. I am very proud. For those who know Twilight Imperium, I want to let everyone know that we played a 7-player game with 4 new players and got it done in about 8 hours. Which, if anyone knows, that's impressive.
That's a feat in
that
this,
is
in
a
this
feat.
particular game.
If you don't know how to play this game and you play it with your friends who also don't know how to play this game, depending on how many of there are, if you play like 6-player game, it's going to be all night. It will be like 10, 11, 12 hours. It will take forever. It is a long game. It is a what people refer to as a 4X game. It is a I forget what 4X. People came up with
you
this.
know how porn is like 3X's?
There you go.
4X's.
That's 4X's, baby.
As a man
more
who
than
wears
4.
a 3X, I can tell you this is definitely a 4X game.
They came up with this term called 4X, which was like expand, explore, exterminate, and exfoliate. I can't remember what the other.
Exfoliate.
I can't remember what the other.
My
Execute, I
favorite
don't know.
round of TI is when we all get a foot scrub.
Right.
That's my favorite round.
I can't remember what the 4th X is, but yeah, this is a genre called 4X. It is a 4X space strategy game where you and hopefully five other people. I would say it is the sweet spot for player count in this game is about 6. 5 is fine, 7 is fine. You want around 6 to get like the true experience. But yeah, it's a game of war and negotiating and politics. There's a phase where everyone sits around like in the Star Wars prequels and we all debate galactic law. Yeah, that is Twilight Imperium.
I think, did you say expand?
Expand, explore, expand,
Again,
Expand.
Justin just hearing white noise as he's just trying to think of other X kind of words.
No,
James
no,
puts, Wikipedia entry.
I cheated.
And just like, expand? Are we talking about expand?
I forgot what the other X
yeah, no.
was.
A space game for those that feel that the game risk is too brisk to get through.
Yeah.
As James put, the board game fanatics board game. 4 generations of it, 4 versions of it. All the kinks are allegedly worked out. And just recently we got like DLC content, correct?
So
there was some additional expansion.
We got 4th edition in like 2017. No,
No, it's sooner than that.
2016. I don't know. 2016, 2017. We got 4th edition. And then they put out an expansion in 2019 or 2020, pretty recently. And what they've been doing after the expansion is pretty cool. And I've seen some other board games start to go in this direction where they basically start releasing board game DLC. And it's perfect for a game like Twilight Imperium where you have, in the base game, there are 17, I think, different factions you can play as, and each faction has their own strengths and weaknesses, and they have their own special units and special abilities and special rules. The expansion adds math for 7 more, so we're up to a total of 24. In the last like DLC pack they put out, there's another new race, but they keep, and it's good. The reason I say it's good for a game like this is they like do some balance changes to some of the factions, because now when you're up to 25 fucking factions, inevitably you're gonna have some factions that are more powerful and a little weaker. So they come out with they've come out with what they call the Codex, which they use to like re-release new cards or re-release even like a new faction like they did last time, and the cards will have like now that power that was like kind of useless and stupid or like didn't work that well before or was like really situational, now we changed it and now it's really useful or more impactful or whatever. There has been 3 codexes after the expansion, so now you have the 4th edition of the game with 1 expansion and 3 DLC packs. So yeah, it's a hell of a thing.
So I have a question. I wonder, I wonder where that DLC kind of idea came from for board games. I mean, obviously, there's the model for video games, but my point is, I would almost say I feel like certain Kickstarters might have kind of led the path to that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because with a lot of Kickstarters for board games, it would be like, all right, look, we get X amount of money and we can release the base game and everybody can play and it's all good. But if we make more money, then we're going to release like additional characters or additional figures or whatever. Because I think of like Mixtape Massacre was like a crowdfunded game, and it did so well that they were able to release like little baby sequels that were just additional missions and additional killers in the game. Tien, who's been on the show before, was telling me about a Marvel Zombies game that's going through Kickstarter, and the base game has like 10 characters in it, but it's like, well, you keep giving us money, we can go up to fucking 100, and it's like, oh my god. So I wonder if that has sort of inspired some of this.
Yeah, maybe. The crazy thing about the Kickstarter model is essentially when you're trying to get funding, you're like, hey, here's this level of funding, and if we get to the level of funding, we can commit to releasing all these extra things. And I've seen a lot of this coming from Fantasy Flight Games. What Fantasy Flight Games has done with Twilight Imperium and some of their other miniatures games is just straight up just free content. It's like, hey, here's these codexes for Twilight Imperium. Here's the rules for how they work. If you want, you can print and play the components. You can just print them out on shitty printer paper if you want. I had them professionally printed because I'm a fucking asshole.
Well, I think the idea here is obviously any game wants to keep its fan base interested. And that in the olden days of once we started getting digital content in video games, that was definitely part of it. Like there'd be extra Call of Duty maps or whatever the fuck, and then suddenly it was, hey, wait a minute, you can just nickel and dime people to death, and your $60 game can actually end up costing $145 if you do it the right way, and blah 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 blah. But in this case, I think, especially with a game like Twilight Imperium, I do not think it's cost effective.
Yeah,
and you're gonna really piss on your fan base to be like, oh, hey, you got to go buy. It's been 5 years. Time to go buy this big son of a bitch all over again. Yeah. So in that case, just keep the nuts and bolts the same. And like you said, just by adding a couple of new factions, which doesn't super change the, like, it's not like, oh, you got to throw the old game board away. No, it's the game itself that's still the same. But that should incentivize people to be like, ooh, it's been a while since we've played TI, and I really want to play as this new faction. So let's try this out again.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering, because, like, obviously they're not making any money out of this. They're just releasing it. There's just a PDF you can just download and print. But I'm wondering somewhere down the line, if they do enough of these codexes, can you, like, go to the store and buy the codex pack that has, like, everything they've released over time in the codexes that's all, printed by them officially and whatever.
It's a good way to test the waters as well. To see, like, okay, could that be something? Because, yeah, again, back to video games, there's been Game of the Year editions that are just basically it's the base game plus all the bullshit they came out with after the fact.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you do the same thing for a board game?
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's the definitive codex where it's like technically you could be playing with most of this stuff for the last however many years, but now, hey, look, it's official. It doesn't look like it was printed out on a piece of construction paper. You didn't
have to wait till Steam Summer Sale to get it.
Exactly. It's like, okay, yeah, that would be nice. And it's funny because I remember the old we played this in college. Do you remember the game Zombies?
Oh,
that had a shitload of expansions. But I think the big downfall of that was they didn't do the math right in terms of figures. Because you'd be like, oh, let's play with like the base game plus these two expansions. Okay, so now your map is like 4 times the size it originally was, but you don't have that same exponential amount of zombies. So now you're running out of zombies halfway through.
Yeah.
But also to the point, and I really like that you pointed this out, the fact that there is an attempt at rebalancing things with this included new content, I think is the difference maker. Because with some of those zombie games, when you got to like expansion 6 or 7, they would have some fucking ridiculous card in it that you're just like, well, that's just going in the main deck. And then suddenly it's like, oh, this one's really fucking broken. And they didn't think about it. It's like, well, really, if you've got this card, you've got the card from the first game. Yeah, combination could really fuck up this whole system. No, they were just like, oh shit. So kudos to them for thinking ahead to go, okay, this is cool that we've introduced this, but now this sort of fucks up the economy of this game. So let's rebalance some things. So, it's a party game, just like Smash Brothers is what I'm trying to say.
So I want to get a little more subjective here and talk about our experiences playing the game, because obviously I've played it 30 million times, and it's a game that I love and know inside and out and forward and backwards, and I have my whole game room stairwell is decorated with Twilight Imperium artwork, and I'm an asshole.
It's really great, actually. I love it. I love the whole setup. I love how you wear it on your sleeve.
And I was gonna say, if you're watching video, the two biggest boxes back there is the game.
Can you see? Are they in frame? I don't even think they're in frame.
Oh, are they not in frame? I was thinking those two big ass boxes.
They're like slightly over here where you can't see. Anyway.
No, let's keep staring at James's background and see if we can dox him.
No, I wanted to ask specifically you, Zach, because this is basically your first game, full game. Is it fair to say you did not have a thrilling experience?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was like absolutely miserable, but I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything out of it. The main issue is the game is very complex at certain elements, at certain times. Let me start with the positives. Super love the voting time. I think the debate, I think the politics part is a fucking blast. Especially when it's like, oh, some of the stuff you got to vote on is kind of finicky because you're like, wait, so we're voting and then this guy might win. But for the stuff where it's like, oh, you all have to vote for this or there's consequences, and now it's a weird rule that's going to just fuck up the next 100 rounds. That's very interesting to me. I like the concept of like, oh, now the whole game pauses for a second, and as you well put it, and then it's just the prequel trilogy from Star Wars, and now it's just this big debate and politics and trying to weigh out your options and voting and the fact that there are things that you could vote on that just absolutely fuck the game up, and now it's like, oh, now it's this, and now every turn ends with this, and everyone's penalized. I thought that was actually really interesting.
My favorite, if I could tell an anecdote, from our last game, we had, I can't remember the exact name of the card, but it's the one, for people who played this before, it's the one where you choose strategy cards for other people, and that got voted in round two, maybe round two. Yeah,
it was round two. Yeah,
and so every single subsequent round. But we did the voting, and we're like, it passes. And then the speaker goes, "Wait, so is this for the rest of the game?" And you were like, "Yes, the rest of the game!"
The whole table screamed at the speaker because they're like, "All right, that's it, bang, bang, that's a new law." And then we're all like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Well, that ends after this, right?" And we're like, "No, it's for the rest of the game." And then we all freaked out.
Because he's the tie-breaking vote and didn't understand the impact of
it. That's not TI. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But that, I think, was probably the apex for me, was that moment of just, we're all freaking out, and then we're like, oh my god, now this is how and then, from that point on, it was no longer a matter of like, oh, I'll pick this role for the next round so I can do this move. Now it was like, oh, now this is its own negotiation, and blah, 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 blah.
It's like, don't give James this card.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't give him that card.
Yeah.
And I thought that part was interesting. I liked the little bit of wheeling and dealing part, because I don't even remember if you remember us playing this, but there's a game that was made literally 100 years ago. Like, there's a game called Pit, and it's this game from fucking 20s, and it's about the stock market and da 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 da. But basically, what it is everybody just has a hand of cards, and each there's like 10 suits basically in the game, but they're all crops. They're types of crops, and basically, the game is you hit the bell, and then everyone's trying to trade until you have a full hand of one of the same thing. But you can't tell everybody what you have. So it's this mysterious sort of trade-off of like, oh, I've got two, you've got two, okay, and you're just hoping that you're not fucking each other over and that whole thing. I love that game, and so it's also super fucking easy. But there were elements of this that kind of had that. TI had elements of that at certain moments where you're like, well, I'll give you this, and then don't shoot me, and I like that part.
Deal making.
Yeah, the wheeling and dealing and the like try and like everyone is both has firepower but also has limitations. Like that's all very interesting. Where I struggled is in the nuts and bolts of each round lasts 4 lifetimes, and so you just kind of keep going around and around and around and around until everyone goes, I can't do any more moves. And then once everybody says I can't do any more moves, then we move on to the fun part. So I think we were probably 2 or 3 rounds in, and I was overwhelmed. Like I didn't really, because the ruling that you always throw out is like, well, if you're overwhelmed, just think about like what can you get to get points, what can you do to get victory points, because that's ultimately what matters. But I was so neck deep into, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I don't know what my options are at this point, and I didn't ask for help specifically enough. Nobody offered to help specifically enough.
Oh, I attacked you.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
yeah. You were fucking him in the ass. Yeah.
But the big indicator, the big I need help indicator was for 3 major rounds, I had elected to end my turn because I wasn't doing any more moves, while everyone else had like 10 moves to go. And I feel like that's a huge. So if you're like setting up a game and you're kind of sort of playing lifeguard, if one of your players is like, I elect to pass, and it's like, we just started this round, that's not a good sign. That's a sign of, I don't know what I'm fucking doing, and I don't think I can do anything that's worthwhile, so I'm shutting down. In my defense, I made it 4 hours without looking at my phone once. I gave it a shot, but like I said, I just got overwhelmed. And then, like, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're playing the game and you're playing it well, you could maybe have 1 round, maybe 2, where you go home early and you're not fucked. Like, you go, I'm going to elect to pass, and there's maybe a couple more things you could have done. I would say maybe you get, like, 1 gimme round, maybe 2. But when you pull it 3 times in a row, everyone was so far into their plans by that point, into whatever they're fucking doing. Oh, I'm trying to make it across the galaxy. I'm trying to create a coup and overthrow the government of the main planet, or whatever the fuck everyone's trying to do. At that point wise on the board, I was just super far behind at that point. And there's not really, unless I pulled out some unbelievable shit, there's not really a huge way to make that up.
Yeah.
I would say that's the big negative, because I looked it up online. I was like, am I the person who like doesn't do well at this game? No, the big criticisms across the board is, game takes too long. That's all I could read. The opening line again and again and again to all these manifestos was, game takes too fucking long. For me, the issue is not necessarily length of game, because if you're going in knowing it, if this was like a surprise, if on the fucking box it said
surprise,
like
8 hours
for ages, fucking 10 to 30, and like estimated playtime 10 to 15 minutes, and then it took 8 hours, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But the fact that you go in,
the actual box says 5 hours, which is a lie. If you've not played this game before, you will not finish a game in 5 hours.
I feel like that was the marketing team. I feel like the game testers were like, it's going to be at least 8 hours, and the marketing was like, we can't put fucking 8 hours in the box.
Yeah,
so
that's an entire fucking day.
They'll put it's a work day. They'll put us in jail. But the thing for me is that it is a game that when you really step in the shit, there is just when you're on the losing end of it, there is just no hope. And it's just like, and it's not one of those games where you can just turn around and just be like, you know what? If you ever play those, not Cruising USA, but like Daytona 500 in an arcade, and you're just like driving around the track, and then you get bored because you're like 12, and you're like, fuck this shit, and you turn around and you drive backwards and fuck all the cars up. You can't do that in TI. You can't go like, hey, you know what? I'm losing. Why don't I just make life fucking difficult for everybody?
I mean,
I disagree. I think you can. I think that's your only option when you get to a point where you're like, you're looking at the scoreboard and you're like, well, I'm not winning. Like, your choices are to like, well, I'm just gonna whip out my phone and like whatever, or let me look around the table. Let me look around the table, and I'm gonna choose who gets to win this game. Cause like that guy, he fucked me in the ass earlier in the game. I'm gonna make for goddamn sure he is not the winner today. Like, I think that is your only play when you're far behind in Twilight Imperium. You can just be like, all right, fuck that guy though.
True. Okay, I agree with that. But the problem is, back to square one, I didn't have a firm enough grasp on what my options could be to be mischievous. At that point, like, you know, my option to be like, you know, a chaos entity would have been like, when it was my turn, just being like, what to do, and just waste as much time and just make the game go on longer. Like, that was my only option for like my base knowledge of like what can I do in this game. So yeah, that was it's just not for me. It's just a lot of options.
That's fair.
And
it's not for everyone.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of lore, but the game itself is like, oh, no, that shouldn't matter. It's like, okay, well, that's not great.
I think you have to bring some of that to the table yourself. Like, everyone has to role play. No. Let me finish. I think everyone has to role play a little bit, which, if you've never played the game before, you're like drowning in rules, and you're like, wait, what do I do here? How am I allowed to do this? What am I allowed to do here? Your brain is not in role play mode. Like,
right.
Once I agree
with that. That's
once you're like, you know, 2 or 3 games veteran, then you can be like, let me put this layer on top of it where I'm gonna role play being the Borg from Star Trek, or, you know, whatever the fuck. And like, I'm just gonna role play being an asshole to everyone, just whatever.
So back to the Daytona 500 metaphor, it would be like, oh, there's strategy to race in, but if you've never driven a car before, that strategy is not going to come into the conversation. You're just trying to figure out how to make the e-brake not be on anymore.
Yeah, it's like you chose manual when you should have chosen automatic.
Yeah. I definitely did that as a kid, by the way. And like, there'd definitely be times where I'm like, that seems cool. And then I'm just like, oh, why am I dead last and I can't get out of first gear? Oh, because that's what that means. That's why Crazy Taxi was perfect for me. It was just forward and backwards. That's it.
Yeah. Best game.
Well,
but let me turn this around then. So Justin, you've played, as you stated earlier, 75 games of TI in your career, far more than James. What draws you to TI other than James's puppy dog eyes? What brings you in to wanting to play this game, and what do you get out of it? What has been like some personal highlights for you?
I like the sociability of it. It's a very fun social game. Great to get around, great to kind of, it's a great way to gather people together and just play a game and be like into a game, even if, you know, you're probably fucking each other over in the end. But I do agree with you on the fact that if you don't have a good start, if you don't get your plan in motion in the beginning of the game, then you can really get like really behind to the point where you can't really come back from that. And that's happened to me several times. I'm not the greatest strategy game player. I'm not a chess player. I'm not anything like that. I suck at strategy games. But I don't know, the game's just so appealing because there's so many different variables. You can be someone who's running around attacking everyone. And that can, you know, get you your victory points. Or you can be someone who just simply makes trades, and that gets you your victory points. You can be completely passive, and that gets you your victory points. You can be just, you know, planet dominating, or you really just need Mechatol Rex, the main planet. Like, you can, like, there's so many ways you can win. And obviously it does depend on the faction that you pick as well. But for instance, this last game that we just played, someone brand spanking new, and I know James helped them a lot too, but
help them over me.
No. Well, here's the smart thing she did was like, she's like, A, that, and B, was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, started showing me like her secret objectives. And
so there's your thing. There's your thing. If you're in trouble, just whip out your secret objectives and then just look at all the help you'll start to get.
And she was like, hey, can you help me complete these? And I'm like, for me, I'm like, I'll help you complete those. You help me complete mine. So, like, we definitely teamed up. I had a few drinks too many. And then we got to the last round. I look at the scoreboard and I was like, shit. We're both going to score out at the same time, but she's beaten me in initiative order, so I lose, is what happened.
Yeah. So slight miscalculation.
Absolutely. An alcohol-fueled miscalculation. Also, I realized Tien, who was playing with us, Tien had the, like, Crown of Thanos dumb shit or whatever, which gives him the extra victory point, but if you attack him, then you take away his victory point. Anyway, I realized what I should have done if I wasn't very drunk. I realized what I should have done was just attack Tien and take his planet, take his victory point. It wouldn't
have mattered the order of
then I would have scored out. Anyway, but no, this new player won just by cooperating with me. Never fought a battle. Never did anything.
That's true.
Just was peaceful. Just won. They were Hakan, so she was making, money hand over fist. Just had a stack of fat cash.
That reminds me, I do have a question about that. Because that player who won did just Bezos amount of money by the end of the game and didn't really use it at any point. Is there a pathway that you need the money for? Like, is there a way? Obviously, it didn't really come up in our game, but is there something that you'd be like, oh, well, if you were going to do this thing, you need a shitload of money to be able to pull that off?
Well, she won. The victory point she scored out on was the 2-pointer, which is score 24 resources or something like. So
okay.
She did have to spend a fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say the big ones are objectives probably.
Even if that doesn't come up, you could just be like, well, I'm going to build my flagship. I'm going to build a fucking armada and then just go ruin somebody's game. If you have a mountain of cash that high.
Okay.
But the thing with Hakan always is when you get to high level strategy of it. Hakan is the only race, the only faction in the game where the table can just be like, nah, your power doesn't matter. Everyone could just refuse to trade with Hakan. Hakan only makes money if you trade with them.
That's true.
Yeah. The table could be like, no, not going to trade with you.
Just cancel that whole thing out.
Yeah. And then Hakan's abilities are all blank because they make money through trade. And if they have no trade partner, then they're not making money.
So you have to play on people's inherent greed is what I'm hearing here.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what happened in the game.
That's... Yeah, but that's such a cool factor to have in that game is just all these different ways to just win, get points. With the expansion, I'm still having a rough time mingling my way into understanding the whole mech thing and the hero and agent and all that stuff. But I feel like I'm getting better at it. I feel like I'm starting to, because I remember the first and second time we played with the expansion, I completely forgot about the agents and heroes. Forgot to flip them over when I got the certain achievements to activate them, and so it's definitely a game. There's a very big learning factor in the game, but I also feel like it doesn't take a whole lot, and I also agree with James that the role-playing thing, you don't have to dress up and be in character.
Yes,
but,
you do. That's how we play. We like to dress up.
I know.
Yes, you do.
We're a bunch of fucking stupid nerds that like to dress up. But no. But what I mean is if you can put yourself in that mindset that your race is a certain way. So the one I played was kind of Borg-like. So they just kind of go around, they destroy things, they assimilate, and they can build a bunch of big ships. There's another one that's literally just a virus, and they just grow and attack things, but they can't really be like other humanoids. There's one that's just a plant creature.
Yeah, they're not allowed to be in the Galactic Senate. They're not allowed because they're the virus. Why would they?
Because it's literally space just a racism.
So no, it's
and another thing I will say as a positive, because you guys made me think of this, is I like how, Justin, you brought up an excellent point, that there are so many different variables, and that goes down to the structure of the game as well. I do like that there's not a concrete board that you have to build out the galaxy depending on how many players are involved. I like that there's so many different races and options, but that the actual tokens are the same, that they're universal. There are elements to keep the game evolving and changing and keep it interesting that I do appreciate. It's just the nuts and bolts of it is just not my game, and it makes me feel stupid. It really does. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. When you're sitting at a table with 6 other people who are like, "Dad," like they're having like the Stan Bush '80s like having a montage. Everyone's high five and stuff like that. And I'm looking.
Camera
up,
pans over to Zach. Sad.
I'm looking up Hooked on Phonics on my phone. And, it's a little taxing, but I now, James, you mentioned that they're also working on a different style of game, but also including some of the same, I guess, lore of TI. Is that correct?
This is like the game that Fantasy Flight, this studio, this was like their first game. This was the game that put them on the map. This game, Twilight Imperium. Obviously, we're on the 4th edition, but now they're trying to branch out this IP into other games, into other properties. They're working on a Twilight Imperium role-playing game, which I am definitely down for.
Color me interested. I'm interested on that. Okay.
The premise, by the way, the premise of the role-playing game is, remember the race that I played where I was basically Starfleet and my race was charged with keeping galactic peace and promoting harmony between. The role-playing game is you're all members of Twilight Imperium Starfleet, and you have to go out into the galaxy and keep peace. Anyway, the premise is very interesting to me.
I like it.
So they're working on a role-playing game. They are now also working on a roll and write. If you don't know what a roll and write is, yes, you do. You've played Yahtzee before. So roll and write is basically you roll dice, you look at the result of the dice, you write some stuff down, you roll dice, you look at the result, you write some stuff down. That's a roll and write. They are working on a Twilight Imperium themed roll and write, which is very interesting to me. I don't know how you adapt Twilight Imperium into a roll and write, but
they got my letters. They were like, "How do we make Twilight Imperium for Goo babies? And
how do we make Twilight Imperium for 60-year-old?"
I don't know if it's going to be.
It's Twilight Imperium Fisher Price edition. So
I don't know that it's going to be Twilight Imperium Fisher Price edition because there's still 25 fucking factions. They said every single faction, base game and the expansion and the fucking Codex race are all going to be in the roll and write. So there's 25 factions, which presumably all have different abilities. And I've looked at the roll and write board, and it's 3 gigantic fucking boards. So I don't necessarily know that this is going to be Fisher Price TI.
It's not complicated enough. We need it to be a 4-tiered board, and you got to roll dice onto other dice. Yeah.
But anyway, at the very least,
all the dice at once, you scream Mechatol.
Exactly, and you sweep the whole table over and start over.
That sounds fun, actually. At the very least, you and I can play the RPG together. I would like that very much.
We'll sit in a room together, just you and I, naked, and we'll just role play, TI characters.
I love it.
You guys are just gonna wear your Star Trek costumes.
Yeah. Basically.
So, any final thoughts on TI? If you're going close this out in a Billy Mays sales pitch for people who have been discouraged by my tales of woe.
Listen, it's an event. You will, for better or for worse, you will remember the time you played Twilight Imperium, and if that's a good experience, many people like Zach do not have a great. The first time I played TI, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I played, I can't remember what happened, but it was everyone at the table was just yelling at each other the whole time. Somebody came in and ruined my home planet, and everyone was just yelling at each other, and I was like, I don't know. I don't think I like this game. I
remember in our first few games, we were very attacky.
Yeah,
we realized you don't have to attack each other so much.
Well, I think that's just naturally you assume. You've got all these warships. You're okay, well, clearly I have to put these to use.
But I remember my first experience with this game was not good, and it took. We didn't know how to play, so it took 10 hours, and we were all just kind of miserable at the end. And I was like, I don't know, was that fun? I don't think that was fun.
The rule books.
Yeah. But yeah. And then the second or third time, it clicked for me when I was like, you don't have to like attack everyone all the time. You focus on scoring points, which may or may not necessitate attacking people.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the game we played, the girl who won never attacked a goddamn person, like never even got in a fight the whole game. Anyway, yeah, I did not have a great first time, but anyway, for better or for worse, you will remember the time you played Twilight Imperium. It's an experience. And if you like it, even if you don't like it, I would say maybe give it a second chance. If you're like me, you know, maybe it'll click on your second time and you're like, oh my God. The thing I love about this game is, like Justin said, there's like so many interactions. It is a game for someone whose brain works like mine, who like, I love thinking about games. There's like so much to think about in this. There's so many interactions because there's 25 fucking factions, and each faction has like a list of abilities, and then their leaders, their agent does something, and then when their commanders unlock that does, and then they have a hero, which is basically like a superpower that they could do, and you're like, oh, but what if their hero does this with this? What if they team up with this race, and then they trade this, and then, oh, that would be really good. Like, there's so many, like, my brain just goes crazy thinking about like all of the strategies and stuff for this game. I don't know, it's great.
And that's why the only way we can beat James is by getting him intoxicated. we gotta shut his brain down.
It's a great equalizer.
We gotta kill some brain cells. Get the even playing field there.
Yeah, it works. It works.
It's a great way to put it, because I feel like that is really what I struggle with. Because even in other simpler games that we've played, I still get overwhelmed with like the strategy and the building on top of things. And like, well, if he does this, then I can move this and I can do that. I just don't, my brain is just not great at that. So
I'm the same way.
Even, you know, less intense games that we've played, I'll still be like, we'll be like 5 rounds in, and I'm like, hey, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing anymore. I've lost the plot. Where are we going with this? It's like, oh, you can either do this.
Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. So you do this or you do this. Okay. I guess I'll do this. Well, that one didn't do anything. Well, I'm gonna lose then. I don't fucking care. But I did feel, as I punched the microphone, I did feel vindicated, because during the last time we played, someone at the table asked why I was playing, because very clearly I was not doing a good job of lying. I was showing on my face that I was not having an absolute. It was not Christmas morning on my face, apparently. And so,
well, also the scoreboard was like, everyone was like 8 points, 8 points, 7 points, 7 points, and Zach had like 3 or 4. So it was like,
you give me too much credit. I had like 2. And so somebody had asked, like, well, if you're miserable, why are you even fucking playing this game? And I looked at James and I said, because he asked me to. Like, it's about friendship. The halftime that we played the first time, I bonded with a gentleman that I never thought I would talk to. And we ended up having like funny banter, and we ended up like, he's actually a pretty great guy. So like, James is right. Even if the game is overwhelming, there is such a weird. It is an event. And it's
a good social thing. It's a nice little social gathering.
And it's easy to get lost in, like, because there's so much shit going on, and it's fucking 8 hours. Like, it is easy to get lost in there, where you're not really thinking like, oh, do I have to go? Did I change the laundry over? Like, no, you're like, oh, fucking okay. And then we got to vote on that. What are we voting on? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Someone tell me. You know, which is how real politics work. Is they all just look at each other. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Someone tell me.
So there you go. That's Twilight Imperium. Do you guys want to talk about some of the games? At time of recording, it is right after not E3. When E3 would have been, it's when Summer Games Fest was. At time of recording, this is an interesting time, because if Nintendo is doing a Nintendo Direct in the summer, it hasn't been announced yet. So we are in between Summer Games Fest. All of the other announcements have been made except Nintendo's. Do you guys want to talk about some of the games that were revealed at Summer Games Fest? Zach, I've got one for you.
Okay.
I think
Twilight Imperium, the point-and-click adventure.
This might be your favorite game of all time, and I need to know what you think about it. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Just the idea of, without knowing anything else, how do you feel about a remake of your favorite video game? Because that happened to me 2 years ago with Final Fantasy VII Remake.
The potential for rock hard boner is like all time high.
Right.
Love that game. Played that game on several systems. One of the few games that I've beaten multiple times. Absolutely love that game. So updating it, especially, with like, I enjoyed playing Resident Evil Village. I thought that was a lot of fun. So if that's sort of the DNA that we're building from in terms of like nuts and bolts, I don't hate that.
Just announced today, by the way. Just announced today, hours ago, we've got Resident Evil 8 DLC coming, including DLC for Mercenaries, where you can now...
What I'm fucking talking about!
You can now play as additional characters. You can play them in third-person mode. You can play as additional characters. Chris Redfield, cool.
Is it flaccid physics, though?
Flaccid physics. That's a whole story.
I'm not interested.
You can play as Eisenberg. You can play as Lady Dimitrescu in.
Hey,
you can be
there we go.
9 feet tall in Mercenaries with claws.
That's why the fucking option of like you can play third person now. Yeah, no shit. Because if you're playing as a character that takes up 2/3 of the screen, that's not going to really work. So yeah, it makes a lot more sense. That sounds fucking fantastic. My only concern is I can't imagine that an RE4 remake is going to be coming out for PlayStation 4. It's probably going to be a PS5 or PC thing. So
well, let me check that. It might be.
Because I think I heard something about VR as well, which I'm like, I don't care.
It's also the original has been ported to VR. The remake is not.
I think they're doing something. I don't think it's going to be a full-blown remake, but I think I heard something about like there is going to be some kind of Resident Evil 4 newness on VR.
Oh.
I think.
Oh, okay. Let me check this. Oh, no, it's not PS4. It's not PS4.
So I'm going to have to rob a Target and get a PS5.
Or you can come over and play it with me because I'm going to get that the second it comes out. For better, even if the review's good, review's bad.
Buggy as shit, doesn't matter. Okay, then I'll do that. No, that's fucking incredible. I love RE4. Holy shit, that's great. I hope they don't
fuck it up.
Well, I hope they don't mature it too much. Meaning, like, similar to we were having a discussion before recording about the movie Army of Darkness and taking that character of Ash and making him super over the top and super confident and have a bunch of great one-liners is kind of the same treatment they gave Leon. Leon from 2 is kind of unsure of himself and is, a rookie. And then when you suddenly see him in 4, he's this, like, walking, confident, macho guy with a bunch of great one-liners. I want that in this game. I don't want them.
That is my concern. Resident Evil 4, the original, has a very specific, almost like B-movie action sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't... That's a very specific tone, and I don't know if we're going to get that.
No, if I had to guess, if I absolutely had to guess, if I'm giving a prediction, it's probably going to be similar tone of 2 and 3 remake.
Probably. It's probably going to be very serious, very horror game.
Yeah. Which is still fine. I still enjoy the game itself. So I'm not going to cry if, he's not saying where'd everybody go? Bingo. I'm not going to shed tears if they don't include that. I'd be like, well, that line was dumb the first time. I get it. But unless they're going to completely throw away certain elements, that game still fucking ends with Leon on a goddamn jet ski with the president's daughter, and that's all that fucking matters. So, and I don't give a shit how many times you change that dialogue where she's like, oh, maybe we can hang out for a little R&R afterwards. And he's like, hey, baby, you're underage. Burn it, dun it. And fuck yeah, that's how you make a movie and a game. So no, that's pretty fucking amazing. I'm pretty ranked for that, and I will also definitely play it as soon as it comes out on your system.
A lot of these games just read as like Zach's personal wish list. The new Saints Row game, they came out with Saints Row Boss Factory. Are you familiar? You're not familiar with this. You can get Saints Row Boss Factory, I'm pretty fucking sure, right now. It is the Saints Row for the new game. Saints Row, what are we at? Five, six?
This is a reboot, but I believe we're at 5.
Whatever. Saints Row the reboot. You can download this right fucking now. It is the Saints Row reboot character creator. You can go ahead and create your character ahead of time. Have it all ready to go, and they showed off in the trailer just like huge, like, you know, they like first they had like some dude and they like perfectly replicated this dude's face in the game, and then they just made him naked and just, you know, massive schlong, tiny schlong, huge tits.
I'm gonna need to save that clip for later of James just describing all that. No, the thing that I've enjoyed about the advertising campaign for this reboot is that they're like, I don't know if they're just not confident or they're afraid of like fan backlash, but there has been very little talk about like what the story is of this reboot. How much are we going back and starting over? Are we retelling the same story? You know, what are we doing exactly? Nothing about any of that shit. It's literally just like, yeah, no, we used to rip off GTA, but now you can just look and do whatever the fuck you want.
Now you can have a giant schlong.
Yeah. Now with 80% more schlong. Yeah, no, that's all the ad campaigns have just been like, you make your person whatever. You can make your car whatever. You can have a fucking foam hand that shoots bullets instead of a gun.
Like, know who their audience is.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's such an interesting way to go about it. Because again, this game started as a GTA clone. And now that they're like, well, Rockstar would make things where it's like a deep trailer about like I think of like, what was it? Was it 4 or 5? Whichever one had like the Russian immigrant guy. He was like, I came to the country with the dream and blah blah blah, and it's like this deep fucking thing, and like Saints Row is just like you the tits and a dick on it, and a robot arm. That's pretty cool. Like I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be too mad.
Dick on it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not that mad. That's fine. For as silly as those games are, there are elements that I very, very much enjoyed narratively. But I'm like, I don't know if we're going to get there again, but I can put tits and a dick on it, so, okay.
And there you go. You can put tits and a dick on it.
If that's not on the box, then they're missing an opportunity.
Now with more tits and dicks.
That's probably going to be on the box.
My hope is, A, that the soundtrack's good, because that's kind of a staple of a lot of their games, is they get a lot of, like, literally... there's a point in Saints Row the Third when you have to it's like a race against time to get to the final boss, and you have to drive across town as fast as you can to get to the certain moment. And as soon as you get in the car, Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler plays, and the chase takes the length of the song to get to the ending. So you're fucking like weaving in and out of traffic, and it's like super tense, and there's like dialogue playing while this fucking Bonnie Tyler song is playing in the game. And it's like so I hope that the soundtrack is good, and then I hope Professor Genki comes back, because that was the weird mini game show that they had in the previous games, where it was all like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge but with guns. And so I hope that makes a return, because I loved that, and it was super weird. And like they just kind of introduced it into the universe of the world that the game is in, and just like, it's the world's most famous game show, and it's just people mowing people down while like jumping over spiked things and nonsense like that. So that's super exciting for me. What else you got?
Next game, Cuphead Delicious Last Course. I don't know. I'm unclear if this is DLC or like a standalone, or it. I think
I keep seeing DLC.
Okay, so it's DLC. But
I think that's the joke. It's the Delicious Last Course DLC.
I'm an idiot. Cuphead Delicious Last Course. Oh my god. Okay. DLC. I'm stupid. I didn't get it.
I'm gonna shit the bed on that, but I'm gonna play it anyway. That game, I have never gotten less distance in a game that I've enjoyed than that. Like, I've gotten farther in Darkest Dungeon than I have at Cuphead, but
yeah, Cuphead.
I love that art style. I love the music, so I will definitely be getting that DLC.
Gotham Knights. Have you seen this, Zach?
Have I seen this? Have I heard about this? I've seen a couple of bits and pieces about it. It's kind of reminiscent of like the Arkham games, right? Like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City.
It seems like this is the spiritual successor to the Arkham games, but it seems like
you're playing as everybody except for Batman.
Well, it's huge time jump because in the trailer they showed they're like standing around Bruce Wayne's grave. Like, Bruce Wayne's fucking dead, and you play as like the next Batman, or you could play Robin, or you could play a couple of the other DC heroes. So it's like big time jump after the Arkham games.
I could be interested in that. I fell off after Arkham City.
Yeah,
because then there was Arkham Knight, I think.
Yep.
And Arkham Origins.
Yep.
Yeah, and I didn't really get into those, but I could see myself playing that one again, just because like I didn't hate the system. It was just sort of like, okay, I get it, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. I know our friend Tien is very excited for that game.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
Yeah. I am also kind of excited for that one. I did like the Arkham series. I was into it, except for Origins was okay.
Yeah.
Knight kind of made me
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they kind of get back. I hope they get back to the original.
It definitely got a little stale. The first two
formula.
games I thought were really good.
Oh yeah, those are really
just
good.
put Riddler trophies in. That's fine. It'll write itself.
Yeah, Riddler trophies and him yelling at you. That's all I need.
I don't know. That might be about it for the games that Zach. For the games that Zach.
Portion of the show.
The games that Zach gives a shit about. I think that's about it. There's a new.
Not TMNT.
Oh, that's right. There's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredded's Revenge. I think that was actually previously announced. Some of these games were previously announced, but there's more footage for them now.
Yeah, I did just recently see that, and at first I'm kind of like, that might be interesting. And then it's like, well, you can play as the Turtles or Master Splinter, and I'm like, And it's like, all right, Master Splinter and April O'Neil. I'm like, And I was like, okay, well, what about the first time ever you can play as Casey Jones? And I'm like, how has we never played as Casey Jones? Like, he's got a hockey mask and weapons. How have we never been able to play as him in any of the Turtle games? And then I heard today that, like, the theme song of the game was written by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Well,
and I'm like, all right, well, now I'm interested. Now what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
The crazy thing they showed off in the trailer is you could have, what is it, like 5 or 6 simultaneous players? So it's just fucking chaos on the screen. Just everyone's beating the shit out of everyone. Yeah.
I like the idea of, like, taking the gameplay way back to early arcade, but adding the initial feature of, like, but what if you had, like, 100 people playing it? Like, fucking Tetris 99 and fucking Pac-Man. Like, these are old games, but what if you had 100 fucking people playing it at once and just, like, stepping on each other's dicks
what if
while
we
you were
utilized,
playing?
RAM and CPU processing?
Why not? We're in the future now. We can do it.
Let's see. There's a new...
You know what I'm excited for?
Oh, what's that? If you
Simulator.
say TI, I'm going to disconnect the call.
Goat Simulator 3.
Goat Simulator 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a new Goat.
Gotta love yourself a good ragdoll game.
I didn't know there was a second one. I was
guilty.
Neither
did I.
I was like, Goat Simulator 3? There was a second one? What?
Maybe it'll be like the Thanksgiving movie where they made Thanksgiving 3 but didn't make 2 because they were like, our first idea was dumb as shit, so we just skipped it and jumped to the third one.
Let's see. There was a new Alien game. I don't know if anyone gives a shit about Alien. Doesn't sound like it. There was like 2 different Dead Space. Does anyone remember Dead Space? There's like...
What the fuck?
There's, I think there was like an actual Dead Space game, but then there was something called the Callisto Protocol, which was made by the original Dead Space like developers. So there's like official Dead Space and unofficial Dead Space, which ironically might be more official than the official Dead Space. So if you like Dead Space,
I think TN was a big Dead Space guy, if I remember correctly. So that would probably be interesting.
And then just for me, Street Fighter 6. God damn!
Not just for you. Not just for you.
You're into Street Fighter 6?
Look, you can either go home or you can play with me. Pia!
I thought you were going to say...
Just give me Jean-Claude Van Damme DLC. That's all I'm saying.
I thought you were going to say, or be a family man.
That's also true.
No, have you seen any of the shit for Street Fighter 6? It looks...
I saw all the leaks.
Yeah.
Of every fucking character.
The whole roster leaked, which is like... it's kind of a bummer, but also kind of not a bummer, because the starting roster is fucking sick. Like,
yeah, that was kind of my thought. If this was any other genre of game, it would be like, oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. But for this, it's like, yeah, quit bullshitting around. Just fucking show me already. And
give me this game. Give me this game, because that leak is fucking sick.
Exactly. If it's a fighting game, why are you fucking around? Especially if you've already got it figured out. Like with the Warner Brothers Smash Brawl knockoff game. Yeah. I get it if you're like, hey, trying to figure out licensing. Here's who we'd like to have. We don't know for sure. Hey, I get that. That's fine. But if you're fucking Capcom, you know who's in this fucking game. Yeah. So just tell me who's in the goddamn game.
No, I don't know if you've seen that game in motion yet. Recently there's just been a ton of footage where people have gotten to play it, and it looks...
I saw that Maximilian played it a little bit somewhere. Yeah. Really interesting.
It sounds like he's a little bit mixed on it. He was like, oh, at first I didn't like it. The more I played, the more I liked it, or whatever. But I've seen footage of that game. That game, just visually, that game looks fucking crazy. It looks, I don't know, it looks exactly the way I want it to look. It's in the RE engine, so all the characters are like way more realistic looking than they have been previously, which I was like, oh god, like maybe that's a bad move for Street Fighter, because Street Fighter, that, you know, they've always had like exaggerated proportions and like cartoony faces, and I'm like
like cell shading and all that.
Yeah. Like especially Street Fighter 4 was like really cell shaded, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I would like hyper realistic characters.
Do you want to see hairs and pores?
And that's exactly what we're seeing in Street Fighter 6, but it looks really fucking good, and I don't know, it's got a really strong sense of art style, like a really strong like it's like this like urban hip hop like spray paint, lots of spray paint, like when there's like certain moves you do in the game where you like kick somebody and you kick him so hard that like paint just flies everywhere. It's like really stylistic, and you do a super and like graffiti is going everywhere out of the super. I don't know, visually the game looks fucking great. But yeah,
I will say personally, as soon as I saw Zangief in like their traditional wrestling gear, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then all I have seen, other than that like clip of Maximilian,
Ken,
like a little bit. No, all I've seen, there was like just a taste of homeless Ken. All I've seen on TikTok is just everyone thirsting over Chun-Li. Like just everyone's just like, oh, I was like, as soon as she shows up and she looks good, because remember what was there was that Marvel vs. Capcom game that came out that she looked like a nightmare.
Yeah, well, MVC, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where she looked like a
fucking horrible monster. But they fucking put their whole design pussy into this, and so she looks great, and that's all I've seen on the internet. Like, my god,
she looks like actually Asian now. She looks like a Chinese woman.
They fired her original voice actress and brought in an actual Asian woman to voice act her.
And the crazy thing I didn't know is it's not pronounced Chun-Li on the Street Fighter 6 you select it, and her name is pronounced Chun-Li, like Chun-Li. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So we've been saying, like, a lot of people say,
we're
like,
a bunch of
a lot of people say like
bastards.
Yeah. A lot of people say like Ryu or whatever, but that's not a fucking Japanese name. It's, you know, it's Ryu. That's anyway. Yeah, Chun-Li is apparently how you say her like real Chinese name.
And everyone's thirsty as hell for her.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Oh yeah.
No, this is how it'll go. I'll if it comes out for PlayStation 4, I will buy it. I'll play like through the arcade mode of like 2 or 3 characters. I'll suck, and then I'll probably spend money on DLC, and then I'll just watch you play, and I'll be like, yeah, like that'll be the enjoyment I'll get out of it, is just watching you put way too much time into it, and then I'll be like, cool. And then,
but did you? Well, hang on. Did you see the single player? What they showed off? It's like It's like
again,
this,
all I've seen is that everyone's thirsty for Chun-Li.
I mean, that's basically all you need to see. And homeless Ken's homeless.
Ken's had hard times, baby. He's had hard times put on him.
No, and we're finally, Zach. We're finally past the timeline of Street Fighter 3. This is the furthest we've gone in the Street Fighter timeline.
Holy shit! Here we go.
Finally, 15 years later, we're past Street Fighter 3. Anyway, I was gonna say no. The single player is like this big. It looks like an open world exploration sort of thing. Like they have Metro City, which is the setting of a final fight, right?
Yeah.
And you can just there's a create a character where like you create your own fighter and you roam around in Metro City and you're like looking for people on the street to actually have a fucking street fight on the street. Like in Street Fighter.
It only took 2 decades and 6 games, but we finally got to a street fight.
Yeah. That's like the premise of the game is you're like roaming around Metro City looking for street fights. But it looks like there's like this exploration aspect and a creative character. It looks like they put some time and money into the single player. It looks like fucking crazy.
That's fantastic to hear. That's very exciting, actually.
Anyway. Very, very, very excited for Street Fighter 6. That is probably, of all the games shown, that is the game I'm probably the most excited for. That game looks very fucking good. They also showed off again. This one's just for me. Final Fantasy 16. I don't know. I'm excited. The last several mainline final. Like my wife is actually right now playing through Final Fantasy 15. I'm like, God, this game is a fucking mess. And Final Fantasy 13. I mean, the last several like big mainline entries for this franchise have been a fucking mess. If you don't count the MMO, even if you do count the MMO, that game launched disastrously. I don't know, but 7 Remake, I just loved that game so much. That game was so good. So I am hopeful we can take the like experience and the good will
what lessons have we learned here and how do we apply them?
The shit that we learned making 7 Remake and like what did people respond well in 7 Remake 2 and let's put that in 16. So hopefully that game's good. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There's not a whole lot of gameplay they showed. Most of it was like cinematics, but I don't know. I think that's about it. Were there any other revealed games that I missed?
There was, as the internet is now calling it, No Man's Skyrim.
Oh yeah. Is that the
Bethesda?
The Bethesda Starfield?
Oh yeah.
Starfield, I think.
I don't even remember
the name.
I think it's called Starfield.
I now just know it as
No Man's Skyrim. That's the name of it. Just file the paperwork, change the name.
I didn't even watch the Microsoft Bethesda thing. I was like, you know what? There's nothing that they're going to show that I could possibly be interested in. Turns out I was wrong because they showed a trailer for Hollow Knight Silk Song, but there's still a fucking release date, so who cares? Anyway.
Thanks for teasing us.
Yeah. It was just a fucking tease. I don't know.
That's about all I know.
I didn't even see the Starfield thing. I don't know. Did it look good? I don't know.
It looks interesting.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I mean, if you played No Man's Sky probably after its completely disastrous launch,
yeah.
If you played it afterwards and enjoyed No Man's Sky, it looks like a kind of game that like you can get into if you like kind of planet exploring and doing little missions here and there and that kind of thing. It seems like it's gonna have like kind of both those elements of like Skyrim and planet exploring. So
cool.
I mean,
yeah.
just
it's a Bethesda game.
A lukewarm hype reception for that.
It's an open world. It's an open world.
It's
another. Bethesda pretty much went like, look, all these open world games are coming out. How do we make the most open world? Oh, well, fuck a world. We're gonna make space open.
Open space game. Okay.
It's
and
an
instead
open
of
world.
swords and axes, you get guns.
Yeah, it's an open world Bethesda game. I think you kind of know what you're getting with a game like that. I would be surprised if it was, not Fallout or Skyrim. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Anything on the indie side of things or no?
Well, I mean,
there's a couple things.
Was there?
Wow.
I mean, other than that trailer for Silk Song, which was nothing. What was there?
I don't know. Like I just remember seeing.
Implied
You
that
heard
there
it.
was.
You
Well,
heard
no,
it here, folks.
there's-
If it ain't AAA, James ain't interested.
No, but the like Summer Games Fest is not like an indie. It's like, you know, all the big publishers are showing off their big. This is not the time for like showing off indie games.
I don't know if they're. See, to me, sometimes if I just see a game I've never heard of before, I just think, oh, it's an indie game. I don't know if it's. I don't know. So some of them look kind of indie-ish.
Yeah.
Like they're new concepts or different concepts. I don't know. We'll see.
I did see it. There was an interesting tweet that I saw this week about like the major differences between game concepts of AAA versus indie developers, and it was like, oh, what if you were a bear who was also a housekeeper? Or if it was like,
that's true. I forgot. Yes.
Yeah, like, oh,
that
what
was,
if you were, what if you were like a bug that had to
fly.
like, you know, yeah, whatever. And then it was like AAA's big question is like, what if you had a gun? And I'm like, yeah, that's basically the end of the show.
I totally fucking forget. Yes, I did see the bear housekeeping game. I did see the fly game where like the premise is you're a fly and you have like 60 seconds to live, and that's it. That's the game.
What kind of mischief can you get into in 60 seconds?
Exactly, yeah. How much can you get done in 60 seconds? Yeah, I did see some of that. I totally fucking forgot about those games. I don't know.
And then the AAA question of what if you had a gun?
What if you had a gun, though? Did you consider what if you had a gun?
Well, what if you had a gun? We are here to challenge you and ask, but what if you had a gun?
I need to go down the list of all the games we just talked about and how many of them do you have guns?
You have guns. I mean...
probably most of them.
Space gun, RE4 gun.
Oh, yeah. The only one maybe not Street Fighter, but I'm sure there's probably...
Street Fighter, we call these things guns.
I was going to say... And even if not, there's probably some character with something
there's going to be some... Yeah,
there's going to be some character with something that resembles a gun, probably.
The fact that Guile's never used a gun seems very not American.
That's true. That's true. Why does Guile not have a gun for his super?
Right.
I do like Jamie.
Why does Guile not have a neck?
That's true. I do like Jamie's new gimmick, though. That one of the new Street Fighter 6 characters, his name is Jamie, and he's a drunken boxer. And the more he drinks during the game, the more moves he unlocks.
Excellent.
I like that as a premise. But like, you have to like think about like if you knock somebody down or if you're like comboing somebody, you have to make decisions like, do I go for another hit or do I take a quick drink? Like, you have to like.
Okay, I like that. It's like, do I continue with what I'm doing here and doing minimum damage, or if I have a moment to breathe, do I drink and try to vary up my moveset? That's interesting. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of really wild. And then when he gets to like maximum drunkenness, his appearance.
He just openly pisses on himself.
Yeah. No, he's normally got this braided hair, and then like maximum drunkenness, his hair just suddenly becomes unbraided, and his face is just like all red, and I don't know, it's ridiculous.
Good. He's like, I'm gonna shit in this closet, and then everyone's catching these hands. Good.
All right, I keep going back to Street Fighter 6. I'm very excited about that game. That game looks
good.
Good. We should probably wrap this up and talk about some endorsements, huh?
Yes, although I did see in the crowd at an AEW wrestling show, somebody did have a sign that said Smash Brothers is a party game. So
those
there's
motherfuckers.
That.
I do love AEW signs. AEW signs are strong.
It's sad that like they're not there for wrestling talent. They're there for like internet nonsense to be like, fucking Final Fantasy something. Actually, it's pretty good.
It's like JRPG deep cuts. It's like, I've seen like, you know, localized Mother 3 held up at
there's a lot of ones that are a lot of like vaguely threatening tones. Like it'll be like, do a remake of this weird JRPG game, you fucking cowards, like that. And it's like, oh Jesus, okay, fine.
But who are they holding that? Is like fucking the president of Nintendo watching an AEW show.
Bailey might be watching. He might be able to put in a good word for somebody. Who knows? But anyway, so yes, now it's we're putting things over.
Yeah,
correct?
I can go first if
okay.
I'm gonna endorse. I have a terrible endorsement. I'm gonna endorse something either you already have or something you cannot get unless you go on a terribly long waiting list.
It's called gout.
I'm gonna endorse the Steam Deck. I just got my Steam
Oh,
Deck.
did yours finally come in?
Yes. I've
outstanding.
been using the shit out of it. I love it. It's it is exactly as promised. It's a portable PC, and that didn't really click until I started using it, and I just like.
And how much pornography you could be dragging with you at all places at once.
Because like the Switch is not, it's a game console. Like this, there's an option to go to desktop, and I was just like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, oh, it's just a PC. Like I can do anything with. Like I can browse the internet. I could, porn, anything. Like and. Yeah, it's crazy. I love it. It's also really big, but not cumbersome or awkward. Like it feels fine to hold.
Not like the Wii U big handheld thingy.
No, and it feels like nice. It doesn't feel like cheap and shitty like the Wii U did. And then I went back and I was because Mario Strikers came out. There's another bonus endorsement, Mario Strikers. We're gonna need to play some. Well,
this first endorsement is more. I think Mario Strikers is an actual endorsement.
Yeah.
This first one has a very na look what I got.
Exactly. There's a lot of caveats, and it's like if you really wanted a Steam Deck, you could go on a waiting list and maybe get one by the end of the year, maybe. No, yeah, I'll endorse Mario Strikers. I've been playing some of that on the Switch. It's great. It's like it's exactly like Mario Tennis, where it feels like there's an incredibly deep game underneath this very silly Mario veneer. There's this really deep strategy, almost like a fighting game, where you have different characters, different tactics, and anyway, it's very fun. But I played it on the Switch, and I was like, the Switch is fucking tiny. The Switch is
a children's toy.
It is. It's a baby. It's like a tiny little Game Boy thing, and I was like, oh my, I never realized how small the Switch was until I had this giant fucking portable TV in my hand.
Until he had
this computer-sized game system.
Anyway, the Steam Deck and Mario Strikers are my endorsements.
Excellent.
I gotta send both of you our club code so you guys can join. I'll you know what? Maybe I'll post it in the comments if anyone wants to join our.
Hell yeah! That'd be great.
If anyone wants to join our club, I'll post our club code in the comments so everyone can get in on our Mario Strikers club.
Bunch of randos. I love it. All right, Justin. What about you? What's your ringing endorsement or flex? I guess
my flex.
I have a baby. Go get that.
Well, yeah, my first flex is don't have a sick kid.
Oh, how's he doing?
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Okay.
Just running around butt naked in the house.
He just walked by. Hey, me too. Great. That's how I feel better. I'm like,
no.
Time to get naked.
I'm going to recommend Friends, like you guys, because
I thought you meant the TV show.
Yeah.
No.
Because Matt LeBlanc's not getting enough work. I'm going to recommend Friends. Go back and rewatch it.
I had a nice little birthday surprise.
Hey.
So to kind of summarize what happened, I get picked up by James and Jess, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do an escape room, for your birthday." So it's James, Jess, Brian. We're all going to an escape room. We do the escape room. Oh, it's nice, fun little time. James makes me drink some horrible drinks.
Sounds about normal.
Yeah, so then we're like, we're done with the escape room. Which, by the way, we escaped with 10 seconds left.
It was tight. It was
very,
tight.
Very
kids.
clutched it. Yeah. So then he's like, "Oh yeah, let's go get something to eat." And Jess even played it off well. She's like, "Oh yeah, I've been craving Cajun, and I saw that Rockin' Brews has like good Cajun." And it's like, "Okay, let's go there." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." We go there. We walk in. And the first thing, I suspect was, they didn't go to the hostess. They just kind of walked in and, where can we sit? I'm like, well, you got to go to the hostess to figure out where you're going to sit. And they just walked out into the patio area, and I'm like, where are they going? And all of a sudden, I get a huge surprise, and it's family and friends, and it was the whole thing. I was like, oh, wow, for my 35th birthday.
Well, here's the thing. The ultimate flex here is that you're a great dude, and so you got a lot on your plate, and it's true. You got a lot on your plate, and a lot of shit you're responsible for, and having a sick kid and all that, like that's time out of your day that you don't get to just like chill and have a good time. So you deserve. If there's anybody in this weird galaxy of friends that kind of revolve around James, I would say you definitely deserve time to just chill and have a good time and get stressed out in an escape room. So
Yeah.
I also like
happy
your
belated birthday.
happy belated birthday. Yeah. Well, early
Well, no,
birthday.
it's
Your
tomorrow.
real birthday is tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fucking push it. I just gave you a nice speech. Let's not fucking bog me down in the details, okay?
I also like your endorsement of just friends, which is another just like semi flex or like a thing you can't get or like
Can't go buy that at the store.
Go get them. Go get them. Go get your
Yeah.
friends.
Get some good friends.
My
and
recommendation:
family people.
friends, go get them.
Go to the store.
My ringing endorsement is Evil Dead the game. We tried playing it
the
at
video
James's.
game. The video game. Yeah.
Yes, and it didn't go over too well. Hearing James become like my disappointed father and just talking about like how shitty the Epic Game Store is, which it is. So when we came home, we are like, well, let's try playing it for PlayStation 4 and see if it's any better, and it was. And it's been a lot of fun. Super not my style of game. I'm not like a huge team-based online multiplayer shooter guy. My closest thing would have been TF2, and you set the record of all time that I could never beat in terms of personal character score while I was in the bathroom. Like I was gone for maybe 5 minutes, and he set the score for the scout so high I could never come close. Like that's how not great I am at these games. But I love the IP, and it does a really great job of ticking off all the right boxes and including Easter eggs and little references and shit like that. And I've enjoyed it a great deal. Luna, my wife, has enjoyed it a great deal. It's much more her style of game. And it's been a lot of fun. The only thing I don't like is it's got cross-platform play, which makes matchmaking super easy. And also they were smart enough that they knew that most people wouldn't want to play as the bad guy. Everyone wants to play as the survivors. So one of the modes that you can play is, it's you and 3 other real people versus the computer. And that's like instantaneous matchmaking because that's what everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to play the bad guy. The thing I don't love is even though it's cross-platform play, which is great, the system to add friends on other platforms is not really there.
Yeah.
Like, so if you somehow were able to play on PC through the shittiness of the Epic Game Store, it's almost like we have to just like run into each other naturally, and then we can add each other after the fact.
Well,
but we can't, like, I don't know. I haven't been able to figure out how to be like, oh, come play with me, person not playing on PS4 who I know in real life. I haven't been able to figure that out yet.
We might have to figure that out because our friend Tien is, as I said, very into Evil Dead and wants to play that game. And I was like, oh, well, like one of us could play on the big screen and then I'll download it on the Steam Deck. And then, anyway, we might have to figure out how to do cross-play. Well, I guess that's both PC. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Anyway.
It's good though. I've enjoyed it a great deal. It's buggy. There's still some glitches to it. The funniest one that we ran into is if you run out of health, you will bleed out. Like you stop what you're doing and you lay down and you're bleeding out, but like one of your teammates can come over and revive you and you can keep fighting. And so we were coming down to the last minutes of a fight, and we were down, we were bleeding out, and we had a teammate come and revive us. But as we were standing up after we had been revived, another monster or something hit us, and it glitched the game out, and we couldn't get up. We were alive, but the character was still in the sad, I'm bleeding position. So we couldn't get up and run around and grab anything, but we could ass slide around the map and we could still attack. So, and the creatures couldn't register that we were a threat because we weren't standing, and it wasn't written in the game that they would like attack down because you never crouch in the game.
Yeah.
So we were just ass sliding around the map, just getting up and attacking deadites, and keep ass sliding around, and we were dying laughing.
That's amazing.
So the bugs that we've run into have only been like kind of novelty, because there was one you can get in cars because sometimes the objectives are far away on the map, so you can all hop in a car and go drive. And so somebody else was driving the car, and we're driving and we're off-roading to get to the objective, and suddenly the car just stops like it hit a brick wall, but there's nothing there. And then suddenly like a campsite like booped in because it like the game forgot to render it in. And so like a giant tent rendered like in the middle of the car that we were in. So we all had to get out of the car because the car wouldn't drive anymore because a tent just appeared inside of it. And so we're like, all right, we're going on foot, I guess. So nothing game breaking, but there's still some stuff that's like, woo, this is an indie game. Like this is like not a AAA. Like, yeah, the question is, what if you had a gun and a chainsaw arm? But it's not it's not super polished all the way around. But it's still been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's one of those very, very rare like mid-sized games right now. Like like a double A game is one of those types of games don't really get made anymore. The double A game.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I would recommend that.
Cool. All right. Well, is that it? Is that the show?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if we can bore anybody else by explaining how shit I am at board games. I think we're good here.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Maybe our next episode will be Mario Strikers or something.
Okay.
Come join our club. Yeah. It's in the comments. Maybe.
There you go.
Actually, we publish to like a million different podcasting platforms. You know what? It's in the comments on our YouTube. How about that?
There it is. Okay.
So go visit our YouTube channel.
Pinned comment. Yeah.
Pinned
comment on there.
It'll be the pinned comment. Now I got to figure out how to pin a comment. God damn it. It just look in the comments. It'll be there. All right. Join our club. We'll see you next time. For the Good Games Podcast, I'm James.
I'm Zach.
I'm Justin.
Goodbye.
Deuces.
Bye.
I was very afraid he was gonna like run into frame butt naked, and I'm like, well,
I had my finger on the camera button, and he ran in half naked.
Okay, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to edit.
He was Winnie the Poohing it. He just had the shirt on and just a little baby dick out.